Okay, the recording's in progress. Your screen's going to ask you if it's okay or you got it. So this way you can see it later. So let's, just for the recording's sake, we're just kind of exploring the hip from side to side. You just sit into the hip, just sit into, this is really important in Chen. So when I sit into the hip, I don't, okay, so let me show you. When I sit in the hip, I don't necessarily push my butt back as much as I just lower in. And it so happens that the butt goes back, right? Just lower in, and lower in. Okay, so lower in and lower in. This was made very clear to me by Master Chen when I was in Shanghai. He showed like if you're not in your hip, you're very unstable. Okay, so we can do a few more circles just to. All right. Okay, let's do a little hamstring stretch. Okay, please hold on to your core. Make sure your core is strong because I want to fold at the hip here. So this is technically for FYI. This is called hip flexion. Flexion is when joints come closer. So this is like elbow flexion. And when joints open, it's called extension. Close, flexion, open, extension. So my hip is flexing because it's closing. When I come up, it extends, it opens. So it's like, let's flex the other hip. Nice and relax, just feel that. This side feels, I mean, I really want to do this side because this side's really tight. All right, let's come on up. When you come up, drive the hip forward, hold the core, right? So really just, use your core to do these moves. All right, let's do a few swings. Okay, just start with a gentle swing. Now think of using your hip to do the swing. You can just swing with both feet on flat. Okay, what I want to avoid is leading with the shoulder. Okay, so think of just gently moving with the hip. Pull the chin in. Arms just relax. You pull the shoulders back a little. So, get away from this. Okay. Okay, ready? So let's go here. Pick one shoulder. Okay. Start with this shoulder. Okay. Drop. Bring the other shoulder. Drop. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1. And then bring it back. So big circle. 2. So I'm taking this shoulder and just bring it around in a circle. Right. So I'm thinking of this one to help me connect with the direction. Okay, let's start with the other shoulder. So think of this shoulder. Okay, and let's see here. So let's see, 1, it's the same direction. 2, there we go. 3. You could think of clockwise, counterclockwise. And just relax the arm. If you feel just tired in the shoulder or tension, just let the arm go lower. Okay. Just relax. Good. And we'll do a couple of these again. Good. All right. Let's do the rub the back. Okay. Now, if you have a stick available, if not, that's fine. I want to show you a couple of things we could do just for this. You could do a little stretch here. Okay. This will help us with our posture because you can't do this All right. And you try to have 3 points of contact: back of the head, shoulder blade, and sacrum. Now, if you have this, and of course, then this is like, see, I'd like too much. Try to have it as natural as possible. Now, not everybody can do it, so just wherever you can. All right. Now, finally, I want to show you a training method without even having to move the thing. And you don't even need the stick, but it helps sometimes. You just have it here. And like, if I'm hunched, there's a certain way, and with the stick, it feels weird. And it's like this. But if you could get it to where you could hold the stick and you feel like balance with the stick. And it also helps with like, I talk a little bit about like the tip of the scapula, the tip of the bottom tip of the shoulder blade. And it's like you kind of pull that tip in, and you feel, and the stick kind of reminds you to be very straight, to pull that shoulder blade in and pull the chin in. Okay. And you can do both hands. All right. So this is really an excellent little reminder for your posture. Okay. Now here's another little trick with this, because we do want to be aware of our bodies as we move, because these moves are complicated. Sometimes one hip is more forward. We don't, I'm exaggerating, we don't even notice that. So see if you can notice if one hip is forward, because sometimes we just, because it's habit, we have one hip like this. Okay. So just see if you can keep yourself. All right. So think of the 2 hip bones at the base of the triangle. Engage your core. Good. So then we try to make ourselves straight. You can even put the stick against your hip bone and kind of notice if the stick is angled, because you can see, oh, one hip is off. So we just kind of learn where they are. Okay. This is going to help later on, in just in general life, because if you start having one hip forward all the time, then your body's compensating for that deviation, and then you may be straining muscles that, you'll be overworking muscles because you have this deviation, and underworking other muscles. So it's good to kind of know where your body is. All right. Okay. So another interesting thing you can train with the stick is, now I always tell you, got to move with your body, use your legs. You can use the stick, a stick or whatever, to help you do that. So I'd say I want to move the stick here, so I could go like this. But if I want to use my legs, I would have to, and keep my hand here. And you could grab it very lightly, but just move your body to move the stick, just to start. Okay, just to start. You want to go lower, you move your body lower. You want your hand to go lower, move your body. You want your hand to go this way, turn your hip. Okay. You want to sit back, move your body. You want to go, we usually don't go forward because we fall forward, right? And then you could do circles. All right, maybe like this, so the stick doesn't fall. Okay. But I'm not moving my hand. I'm not doing this. I'm just trying to use my body. And I could try to do that figure 8. Okay. So now I can hold the stick a little bit, but the stick only moves because my hips and my body are moving. Okay. And pretty soon you'll start really feeling that your feet and your hip are driving the motion. The hip is directing the motion. 1, 2, 3. You can even do it with them like for punching. Okay. So I can punch like this, or I can punch with the leg and hip. instead of this. So we could just train a little bit with the stick, a little bit more if you have it. Hopefully you have a stick nearby or something. Or you can imagine, okay, so you can go low, come over, and you could slide over. A really leg train, slide over, switch, slide over. You can go up and back down, up. So notice with the hand, let the hand move with the body. Okay. All right. And we can go back to neutral. And then working with our good posture. Okay. Use it as a tool. Okay. The whole idea behind weapons, I think, is to use your body to control something. Don't let this thing control you. All right. It's just an extension of your body. So it's basically learn to move your body. This is just a way to help you with that. I'll put this down. Okay, let's go with our silk reeling. So we've kind of got an idea how to move our hands with our body and our hips, right? Our legs and our hips. So let's just go with simple silk reeling. Shoulder joint in, right? If you go like that, you can feel the loss of connection in. Fingers stand up a little bit. Okay. I like to have the hands open. This is more like an energy thing. Usually in the Chen style, they like to kind of do this, but right now it's kind of nice just to have the hands open, make them flexible. Okay. And then just elbow down, and then just relax. So that the hand goes with the body weight. So I sit, and I'm going to drive off this leg, off this hip, turn my hip a little bit into the direction, and then relax. All right. Okay, so imagine I have something heavy. So put the weight on your legs, and then bring it up, and relax. George Chu, Master George in San Francisco, he would say, keep the weight underneath, right? So I'm not picking up my arm as much as like something's really heavy, and it's like kind of, I just have to just let the weight just sink down. And even when I come up, it's like heaviness. I have to use my legs. Turning the hip joints. Yeah, turn my hip. I'll put my hand on my hip. This is not the technical posture, but it helps me learn to see that my hips are moving. Because if your hips don't move, then people just do this, right? So the whole thing with Chen style is every joint is involved in the movement. So ankle, knees, hip, shoulder, right? Elbow, wrist, even fingers, because then we'll learn the joint locks. It's called China. Okay, but usually they're other in the traditional form it's here. Now this hip, it doesn't close. So, oh, I just hurt my knee, right? So you can tell if you're doing it wrong if your knee hurts. But as I come out, it's almost like it opens. One. And then I just turn into it. And then imagine my hips open. Two. Okay. One, relax. Look at where you're going. Try to remember your shoulder blade. Just every now and then think about it to keep your posture up. Right? So we can't really do it very effectively like this. We have to be upright. Now, some people, because of whatever's going on with them, they have this problem and then they arch up like this and they stick their butt up to try to get straight because of all of this. So we want to, depending on where you are, we just you have to start where you can start to get that good posture. One, And so the hand is heavy, using the legs, driving with the hips. You can turn your feet into the move. So you can have your hips even, then you can really start rotating. So I'm going to rotate. Now I'm not letting my knee cave in. So I'm not doing this with my knee. I'm turning the entire leg in the hip joint to turn out. Okay, so you can work that move too. Up and down. Now, if I want to look this way, I have to turn my body, turn my hips. I can turn my foot. And I want to look this way, I'll have to turn my hip, turn into the move. Let my foot turn into the move. This back foot's kind of like my anchor. But I'm switching weight to weight from one leg to the other. Let's try two hands. Kind of like cloud hands. They come to the middle and then they split. We'll switch sides soon. 2, 3. If you kind of get this sense that the hips are spreading out, your glutes will really get involved here. Okay. And I'm hinging at the hip. I'm almost like sitting down. Okay. So let's inhale. And then we'll try the other side. Okay. So remember, movement. So if you remember with the stick exercise, nice and simple, nice and easy. Turn your, so I'm really working this joint here, really. And I'm not collapsing into the joint. I'm just sitting in, like I'm sitting into my butt kind of. I'm just sitting in and then feeling all this work engaged. My lower leg is engaged. Relax. The power of these moves really come in this engagement here from the ground. Okay. Now, in yang style, it's the same thing. It's just that it's harder to see because yang style, is not as expressive, let's just say, right? Come up, just kind of let this relax, but not fall out. So you have to have a little bit of intention. So you can think you're holding an orange or something, so you don't let it just fall out, right? And likewise, you don't let your fingers drop, like, because then you'll drop your orange. So just hold on to something. Okay. Now, I mentioned that there's a certain hand finger move. I'll just show it to you. So they kind of do something like, and they wrap. Okay. All right. So if you've got everything else, you can practice just a little bit of wrapping with the hand. But that is not the important thing at the moment. This comes later when you want to learn technique. All right. Try two hands. Then you could think of splitting apart, pulling, pushing, using the hips. So imagine the hips come in and then the hips spread out. The hips come in, they come into each other, then the hips spread out. 1, 2. And because the hips spread out, you have the feet push off the floor, push apart from each other. Okay, let's take a rest here. All right. Let's work a little bit of, so we did a little side to side, so let's go a little bit forward and back. And then I think we do a little forward back, and I'll show you what I mean about the hand. Next. So in yang style, first let me show you the feet. So here's your center. Here's my hip bones. Here's my feet. So I go forward. I'm going to pivot one out and go straight out. Okay. So feet under the hips. Relax. Pivot one out. Center yourself. Weight on the back half of the foot, right? Because then then your skeleton carries your weight on a very strong part of your leg. Okay, so ready? So one, drive this foot into the ground. Find your. This is one thing about like when the hips are off, so they can, and then up, heel first. All right. So we'll just do a simple yang style push. My hips are not square on, by the way. They're just a little bit, this is kind of a martial art thing. So the hips are kind of like an angle. So my hips, if my hips were square on, they'd be like this. But the hips are more like this. Okay. This is kind of a martial. You're like a wedge. Okay. An axe head. All right, so let's go again. Hold the core. 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of this type of wedge shape. Okay, so 1 and then 2. Notice my hands do not go straight back, straight forward. They go 1, a little bit to the side, and then 2. 1. So it's almost like I square off to the hips this way, and then I wedge in that way. I'm not sure if wedge is the right word, but angle in. So then we're just doing it as a simple push at the moment. And we'll add the Chen flavor to it. Joshua used to say that he was a cook, a chef, and he would take all the different ingredients from martial arts and come up with his own dishes. You see what I do with my feet. Okay, and my knees, I'm trying to keep my knees healthy and in line with this foot. Okay, so now we can add a little bit of Chen style to it. Slowly we morph it. Palms up, palms forward. Okay, the forward hand is this way. The back hand is this way. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm working with that hip joint again. Okay. Now I want to make sure that the one thing we don't want to do is this. Okay, I've just lost all my root, right? All my foundation. So 1, 2. So you really do as you come in, you're rooting into the back foot, and you're rooting into the front foot. We'll switch legs too. Okay, so think of a like a circle. A circle, like it circles in on you and out. So this is what they call the spiral. So it goes out a little bit and back in and out. In and out. So if I'm going to use this to push somebody, I'm not going to push them from out here. I'm just redirecting them, not too far out my circle. But then I really come back into my center and push them out of my center. 1, 2. So basically, if I was to use this to demonstrate, I'm not out here and trying to go back. I'm just out here, bring him in, and here. See, I push him along my center line. This is the strongest part of my body, right here. Okay, it's really hard to push somebody from way out here. Okay, so basically I'm going to go 1 and 2. And if you want to have a little stick to help you, it's great. But then again, one problem about using weapons or implements is that this happens, right? You think more about this than your body. One. Now it doesn't have to be completely vertical. One, two. Okay, drive from one leg into the other. Drive from one leg into the other. So let's step up. We'll do step up, step back. So when I do step up, step back, I'm going to go one. I should say step up. So step forward, step back. So I don't lose my root when I come forward. So one. Okay, if you want, you could start with the simple yang push and then morph it. Or you can go with the Chen flavor. Chin in, remember those shoulder blades. Pull the chin in, top of the head, pushing up. Legs root into the ground. When I push, your hips spread apart. Just, if you think of your hips spreading apart, they kind of prevent this. Okay? So hips, imagine they spread apart, or your legs are pushing out. This is a very fundamental Chen thing here, because this is kind of maybe all you need. I don't know. The shoulders relax, so never keep it down. Okay, so we talked about the spiral. So let me show you. So here I'm coming in, I'm coming around, down, and through, like a big kind of like ribbon thing. Okay, so I come one direction, up, two directions, that way, three down this way. I'm still kind of pushing the guy out a little bit and then down, and then out. So it's never like a square. Just breathe. I know it's a lot of work. All right, let's inhale. And then we'll work a little bit on transition. The one thing about the moves, it's like here's someone's hand. It's like you're doing this. You try, this is a part of the theory. It may or may not be practical. It could be practical in certain circumstances, but I wouldn't depend on it because it's very hard to test someone's hand. But here's someone's hand, and a lot of this stuff is going like this, and wrapping his hand and torquing his wrist. Okay, so it's like a fist is coming. A lot of it's going like this and doing this to your opponent. You got the opportunity to go ahead and take his wrist and torque it. So there's a lot of this type of movement. That's why they work, they work on these different things. One, you see some other people do, it's like this wrapping and this spiraling. And I just caught the guy into this type of wrist lock, okay? So this is why they kind of, there's a lot of that in Chen style. And it's actually good for the hands because, it keeps your hands flexible and mobile. Okay, so where were we? All right. So let's look at how we get into like the first move. I'll go back to portrait mode here. So we can look at the first move. This is good. It reminds me to work on my posture, okay? So here's the first move. I may not use the mat, but no, I'm going to use the mat. So here's the first move. So I want you to kind of really think about what's going on in the first move, or the first couple moves. So let's just, actually it's not really the first move, it's like the second or third move. So we had the push, right? The pull, and I'm pulling. I'm going to come up next. One, I'll have one hand, one sleeve long, okay? So I'm working the hip, I'm transferring the weight. This is the leg that's important now, okay? Even though you might attack with this leg, this is the leg important because if this leg is not there, the other leg can't work. So let's just take your time, think of this leg, and this leg is going to bring this leg over. This leg here, the front leg, is going to help you. Okay? So just kind of feel this front leg help you. So just work on it. We'll do both sides. Okay, so we have to push the one. This hand is doing that wrist thing. And that's why it's here like this. You caught someone's wrist and you bring it here. And you're gonna, so ready? So 1, 2, so I'm gonna do an elbow. I'm gonna do the hands. And then 1. Okay, so think of this leg, the bottom leg. That's your power leg. Okay. Good, and then we'll let it relax. One more time. So we're learning how to root and spiral into this leg. And spiraling into this leg like it's like a drill. And then relax. Let's try the other side. I might take you off the mat, give some more support. Okay, so we're going to try the other side. So 1, 2, root into the front leg, drive it in, like, and then drill this leg up. Okay. Okay, push it this way. Okay, so ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Again, this side is better because it's like my right leg is my strong leg. 1, 2. There we go. 1. We'll work this side a little bit. 2. You can work your weak leg. Let's do one more on the side. 1, 2, 3. But this leg isn't so bad because this is the leg that's used to this move. All right. One little final detail on the strike up. It is not just a flat like this. The strike up spins. Okay, the strike up spins. When you spin it like this, you can engage. I'm going to really exaggerate so you can see what I'm doing. You can engage like that. See my t-shirt? If I do it flat, my shirt isn't doing anything. But when I spin it a little bit, I engage this muscle. All right, I think I will get rid of the mat now. I've been trying to practice like my rows at home. Not very well, I don't have enough room, but. Okay, so let's try a little bit of the beginning form. Okay, and then I think we'll go on to, just keep track of time. We'll go to the hour. Anyway, so let's try the beginning form and we'll work some of the moves in and we'll do the push. And I want to do like their version of the repulsive. So you guys get to see that. And then we'll do their version of cloud hand. And you know, if you think about it, we definitely had, like, there's so much to do, okay? We'll definitely do the version of fast spiral sail, the version of cloud hands, and maybe the version of brush knee, maybe stepping backwards. And we'll just do some basic moves, and then you could like work it on your own and just put together like a little 6 movement, 13 movement form. That's what these guys do, right? That's what these guys do. All right, hold on. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So let's just work a little bit of the form then. We'll just have you guys in gallery mode so I keep an eye on you, I guess. So let's work on our stand-in here. And then, okay, so great. I'm going to switch it to only me for the video now. All right. All right. So let's work on our standing. Remember the shoulder blade. So it's to be upright, not sticking your chest out like being proud. It's to be upright. Okay, just relax. I'll face away from you. I think that's much easier for you to see what's going on. Okay, maybe more like an angle. All right. Get your feet into the ground. Hold the chin in. Watch your head. Right, shoulder blades. And then move to the corner, to the left corner. So just think in your mind, left corner. Okay, so let's kind of be precise because this will help your intention with the move. So left corner, something's happening. So I sit, I flex, I sit, I root into the ground. Now I'm going to root into the ground now. I've already I should be rooted here, but now I'm really going to focus and root in. I'm watching that left corner. There's something happening in the left corner. Okay, and then I'm going to think to the ground. I want to push this guy to the ground. All right, I've done finished with him. There's something in front of me, so focus. Something's happening in front of you. Protect yourself. Okay, root into the right leg here. So think root to the right leg. We'll go step by step. Spiral the left knee up. We practice this rooting, remember? Just step out, and we're gonna do our move. So really kind of like work with the body, move the hips. Hands go with the hips. Hands go with the legs, right? So let's do a couple of these. We did this as a warm up. Okay, you don't need to make the hands very big at the moment. Okay, now we're going to go through the face. Pivot my left foot out a little bit. Root into the front foot. Drive the heel through the floor as you wind the knee up and wind the fist back. Okay, now we're going to go. I'm going to push out to the right in front of me, not too far. And I'm going to just take this and direct my hand with my center, with my hip. I'm going to turn my hip back to the center, turn my hip to the left. There's a problem to the left. Think about the right. So we're really working on our intention. Okay, pull the knee up. Again, rooting into that standing leg. Step out. Focusing on the right side of the body. Okay, good. Here we go. Find the root in the leg. So have the hips drive into the ground. And then this is a spiral. So keep the energy of the spiral. Okay, and this is driving in like this. So this hand, if you look at it, is going counterclockwise. This hand, if you look at it, is going clockwise with pinky up. Okay, and then just get into the posture. Even though we're standing still, everything is moving. Okay, so let's work on the next move. I'm going to unwind. One, unwind, and the hips spread. One, unwind, and you sink a little bit more. Relax, so relax, double down, and then relax down. Remember, arms move because your body moves. Okay. Okay, so just don't do the hands. Think that you're wrapping, like you wrap the lats, like you're a bat. You wrap the lats and come up. Notice what I do. I do my legs first. Okay, legs first. And then legs first, then out. Legs first, then out. Okay, this is a move that we could practice all the time. This is like a foundational move. Okay, so 1, 2, you can make it more relaxed. But get the sense that everything is moving here, not like this. Get the sense that everything is moving with the hips, using my hips. I don't have my hands way out here, my hands are right here. Okay. And I'm going to cover my face, sink a little bit in here because I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive this person into the ground. I drive him into the ground. Maybe I bump him with my hip. Okay. And now we're going to do this little kind of cool thing. One hand over, one hand back, and over. We just do a couple of rolls, kind of like, and then out. Ready? Feel your hip work. So this is all, so it's not just this. One, two, up, then look. Okay, root into this leg. Wind this hip into you. Step out. Okay, and then turn the hip in, turn the hip out. Settle. Good. All right. This is such an intense, series of moves, right? I don't know if we ever get to everything else I want to do. So from here, we'll just go ahead and do the stuff I want to do. Okay. So let's just work on the cloud hands. We'll go ahead and, so cloud hands and Chen style is a little bit different. We'll just do a simple first. One, bigger circles. There's a step behind. And when you step out, the hands go out. Ready? So I'll just start from here. So let's sit here. So here, 1, 2. And you can just do a couple in both directions. Let me just show you the difference here. We'll just do it in place. Wrapping up here, 1. Wrapping. 2, striking. Wrapping. Striking. Striking and wrapping. Maybe trapping. Okay. Work on your hip joint. We don't have to do the feet if you don't want to. You can just go back and back. Okay, back. So you can just go from one side to the other. Now, if you do the foot behind method, you're really working that balance. Okay. Really work this part of the body to move the arms too. So the power of the arms are going to come from the back of the body. Okay, the legs, the hips come in to help you. And you're going to drive with that leg and use that leg to kind of come out. So I'm going to take this leg and it's like, okay. You can think like 1, 2, and you're going to use this leg to help you come out. Okay, and then we go next. Okay, we can try both sides. Use the back leg to help you. It's really hard to do when you go reverse. 2. Okay, so use the back leg. We do one side, boom, and go. You can just talk one side, boom. So I'm using the legs. Okay, now one way. Don't focus on trying to pull that out. Just 1, 2. Just connect this leg to that move. Okay. Oh, a lot of work. So let's try again. 1, 2. Connect this back leg to the push back. Boom. So let's see if we can do the other side. So I'm going to connect this leg to this way. Okay, so you can go 1, 2. Step back. 1, 2. 1, 2. And go nice and slow. 2. You go a couple this way. Okay, and then a couple this way. Couple this way. All right. So let's do a couple more. Let's go a couple directions. And let's make it a little bit like Yang style, though it's not the exact sequence. Okay, so we just go out with a single whip here. Now, so let's work a little bit with the stepping backwards. We have this in Yang Chen style. It's a little different thing, but we can work with the stepping backwards. Okay, just 1. And this time the bottom palm is down. We open bigger and we slide. Very similar. We open, close, step back. Open, wrap. Turn the hips. So I'm rotating off the front hip. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I'm not doing this. Okay, so look at the difference. One. So this is like a pivot. So I do turn the hip, but I keep like almost down the straight line. Okay. Versus going around the line. Like that. Open, rapid, two. So you can think of it more like a yang style thing, but more of a protection to the face. And then back. Okay, so let's work on brush knee. So yang style, Chen style brush knee is a little bit different. We'll do both sides. I'm going to do one side usually. It's kind of like a combination single whip and a brush knee. Okay. Again, with the hip. The hands move because the trunk moves, because the hips move. Okay, this arm is like resting on the structure. Okay, you don't need to bring it up here, then it has to rest, it's too hard. Just here, one. I feel the turning, bring the hand up. Okay, so it's the turning that brings the hand up. Let's do a couple more. All right, good. So that's kind of basically a Chen workout, is what we did. So let's just do the very beginning to the single whip. Okay, so that'd be kind of like your standard form. That's a form you could practice over. And then you mix in these different ideas. And this is how they invent, like, if you go to China, they have like Chen 6 and Chen 13 and Chen 24, or same thing with yang style. It's basically you take a couple of basic moves, change the pattern around, and you come up with a form. And that's how they come up with these long chains of movements. So let's just do a couple more moves and then we'll close class. Right? So let's just do the beginning. Okay, let's think about shoulder blades a little bit. Try to open the chest. Pull the chin in, neck straight. Okay, ready? So let's do the beginning. 1, 2. Just do it as kind of light. We can do this kind of a mellow, kind of cool down, right? We've had a lot of work with the lower body. So soften the joints. You can imagine the flesh just melting off the bone. So we'll use this part as like our qigong. Okay, just then drop 1 and 2. Okay, you feel the hips move a little. Allow a little bit of freedom in the hips. So you can look at my hips here. I'm going to kind of work with those hips a little bit. 1, look to the left. Come out. 1. Sink into the hip. I'm rotating into the hip, I guess clockwise, and I come out counterclockwise. We'll do a couple of cloud hands then. So you can do a few cloud hands. I'm going to come out to here. There's a transition, there's a specific transition that we're not going to do. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So, all right. So that's the hour. It's a big workout. I hope you guys got worked out. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me unmute Howard. I had Howard unmuted because he was making noise or something.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome, Greg. Hey, Howard.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome. I hope that meets all your needs.
Certain set of them, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. So I'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, like 9:15. Huh?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Emily will be with us, and she'll be us three.
What's that?
Emily will be coming.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good. You know, I don't know if you want to bring Nancy or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's all good. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.